Don't drip on the drip. It's the greatest of all times. Buffalo Wild Wings.
You have built an amazing life by working hard and doing your job well. Delivering financial advice is what we do well. At Ameriprise Financial, our job is to use our skills, experience, and research to help you become more successful in today's economy. What we want you to walk away from each encounter with is satisfaction in knowing that together, we've done what we can to help you work toward a better future.
Thanks for buying some room.
The magic of what we do really comes down to combining different aspects of patient care. Here at Premier Chiropractic, we love combining soft tissue work, the adjustment, and exercises together. We found that this gets the best results for our patients. We have 3 chiropractors to fit the needs of the entire family, a rehab area for our exercises and equipment for any athlete to improve performance. Give us a call and we will get you back to doing what you love.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, talk to State Farm agent Michael Lee Braun in Minot today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Carson, timeout.
Who calls a timeout in this game?
Me, I'm icing the kicker.
Really?
It'll give us more time to talk about First Western Bank and Trust,
Like our convenient online banking.
along with smart trust service options.
We're all about hometown service with bankers that know you and the community.
Okay, go ahead and kick.
I don't believe this.
First Western Bank and Trust. You can bank on us.
We raise the bar on bar food with sandwiches, tenders, and there's more where this came from. To the greatest of all times, Buffalo Wild Wings.
It's time for the Scotty K Show, presented by Spicy Pie. Let's go live to the pie for the Scotty K Show. Here's Scotty K.
Welcome, everyone, and welcome back to our final show of the Scotty K Show. And for this school year, hopefully we'll be back here at the Spicy Pie come late August into September when we get the new sports season started for high school and college back in August and September. But this will be our final show. We're going to talk a little baseball tonight. We're going to talk a little track and field, and also, even though it's not football season, well, it is in some areas of the country, but here in North Dakota, we're going to get a chance to talk to the new football coach at the new high school here in Minot High, Jacob Holman. He'll join me a little bit later. Drew Hischlin, the boys in track and field coach from Minot High, set to join me. We'll get to our first guest right here in just a bit, but do want to remind you that Tacos and Tunes here every Thursday night at the Spicy Pie throughout the summer months. And, I know a lot of you might look outside and say, is it really spring and summer in North Dakota? Well, you know what? Sooner or later, we are going to get some decent weather. to do some outdoor activities here in North Dakota. Also want to let you know that we have the Pizza of the Month here at the Spicy Pie. That is a sweet and sour Hawaiian. It is Canadian bacon, pineapple, sauerkraut, and barbecue sauce. You can pick those up throughout the month of May. Again, this will be our last show, and then we'll take a hiatus until the fall. Our first guest here on the Scotty K Show tonight is Pete Stenberg, head coach of the Minot High Magician baseball team. And Pete, you and I have been around North Dakota and Minot for a long time, and this has to be one of the. And I know we had a tough year at times last spring, but boy, this has got to be one of the most nerve-wracking, headachy, I know that's not a word, seasons for you, just trying to get games in.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks, Scott, for having me on. And, yeah, this has been one of the most challenging spring seasons that we've had. We're coming down to this final weekend. Over half the teams still have games left to play to try getting out there, fill out their conference schedule. And just like every normal year, the WDA is waiting until the last game to be played to kind of figure out the seeding. So we're making it work. It hasn't been the best, but we got our boys able to be able to play a little bit of baseball, and that's what we're out here for. Give them the opportunity to play some baseball, possibly move on to the next level. And there's many teams that are playing in similar weather, so. We're playing the great game of baseball, and I like it.
You know, I like that too. And let's take a kind of look at the end of the regular season. First of all, we want to tell people right off the bat that you were scheduled to host Dickinson tomorrow here at Corbett Field in a doubleheader, but that has already been postponed. There's a possibility you might play that later on this weekend, because right now what we're looking at is we've got two doubleheaders tonight, Century at Williston, Watford City at Legacy. You guys were supposed to play Dickinson tomorrow. You traveled to Jamestown on Friday. And basically give us kind of an idea, because everybody plays everybody twice. So you got 18 games, and now you want to fill out the seedings for the regional tournament. That's why you're trying to get him in. You go to Jamestown now on Friday. Kind of give us a scenario of what happens here.
Well, we go by win percentage, and we actually, when we played a conference doubleheader, it's a 2 games doubleheader, and then we play everybody once for a conference doubleheader, and then we have about half the other schools that we get to have some non-conference games in. And when we figure out our seedings for the WDA tournament, we go by win percentage, and so it's only fair to try getting in as many of the games as possible that you can. To make sure that everybody's playing out as many games as they can, or else, sometimes teams have dodged some makeup dates and so forth. But we want to get these games in with Dickinson and Jamestown to see where we're at. We haven't seen Dickinson yet this year, or Jamestown, so we definitely want to be able to see them just in case we have to play them in the WDA anyhow. Friday, when we go to Jamestown, we're planning on playing 2 on Friday, but if the weather's bad, we're going to spend the night in Jamestown and then stay over and take them on Saturday. Right now, Dickinson has clinched the #1 spot in the West, so we don't necessarily really have to play them.
Exactly. Okay, and that's the point I wanted to get across, is there's a possibility you're not going to play Dickinson.
There's a small possibility there, but other teams want us to play them because that might adjust ours. And like I said, through the middle of the conference standings, there's a lot of teams that are head-to-head that are tied, and so all those different things come down, and the more games that are being played, the fairer it is.
Pete, let's talk about the season, because I know I've been around long enough. We played at Corbett Field last Friday. Was it Friday? I think it was Friday, but anyway, in brutal conditions. And the reason that game was played that day is because Williston didn't have any makeup dates that they could use, that sort of thing. So we played in gale force winds. It wasn't very warm out, that sort of thing. Boy, I tell you what, the cooperation between schools, between athletic directors, and between coaches this spring has had to be phenomenal.
Well, not only that, with those 3 different entities, but busing, that's a whole different issue right there too, and everybody's looking for busing, and our transportation guy has done a wonderful job with that, and it takes a great group of people working together to make sure that we can get everything in and corresponded so that busing and teams are playing, and sometimes we're playing at 12 o'clock starts at noon, so that we have umpires, because umpires is another shortage also, and so there's a lot of things that go into completing the season with everything running fine and dandy. But when you have rescheduling items and weather and so forth, that throws another wrench in the fire there. So I'm very happy with the work that the administrators have done and been able to get us all of our games.
Pete, let's talk about your situation right now. As you mentioned, Dickinson's number 1 seed. Legacy and Mandan are in that second and third slot. Your game at Jamestown, because they're at 9-7, you're at 8-6. It's a huge doubleheader, isn't it?
That it is. If we take 2 from them, that puts us up at 10-8, or excuse me, 10-8. We should be 8-6 there, Scott, I believe.
Yeah, I got you at 8-6.
Okay, yeah, so that puts us at 10-6. And that drops Jamestown down to 9-9, and when we look at win percentage, that's going to put us up a spot. And then right now, if we had a head-to-head with Bismarck, Century, and Williston, we swept Century swept Williston, I believe, and Williston swept us, and so it's it could be a pretty good mess to figure out Sunday.
Hey, we were talking about it before we went on the air. I mean, okay, Dickinson is clearly right there at the top right now. You had a doubleheader with Legacy earlier this week that I talked to enough people. You said that to me today. You could have won both those games. You probably should have won one of them. But after Dickinson, and you got to give them kudos. They're 15-1 in the conference. But after that, you got Legacy at 12-4, Mandan 13-5. You guys are 8-6, 9-7 for Jamestown, 8-8 for Century, 8-8 for Williston. It's just like any other sport that we do in the WDA. There's so many teams right there that you don't know what the seeding is going to do.
That's exactly it. We could end up in the 4 spot, or we could end up being in the play-in game, just depending on how things turn out here at the end. But that's typical season in and season out, that there's going to be teams that are waiting till the very last game to be played to figure out where they're at, and we want to stay sharp and be ready to go for them.
Right now we know that Dickinson's the 1 seed, St. Mary's will be the 8th seed, Bismarck High is the 9th seed, and Watford's the 10th seed. The one thing that Minot High wants to stay out of is that number 7 seed, because then you don't have to play the play-in game next Monday, that sort of thing. That's important, isn't it? Especially in the game of baseball, because of the pitching end of it.
That's correct. We're in pitch counts now, and what we use Monday would work against us in the tournament. Granted, the tournament doesn't start till Thursday, so if a guy gets up in the 105 range, then he's off for 4 days. But you still want to be able to come in to the tournament with your whole staff being fresh, having all available innings there to be used, and so that's just one thing that we're going to try staying out of.
Pete, let's talk about it. I know you dropped a couple to Williston last week in brutal conditions. I know you weren't happy and your staff wasn't happy. I would think your team wasn't happy about that doubleheader. But you played Legacy very, very tough the other day. Where is your team at? It's been a frustrating year for them too as kids.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I've been really happy with is our pitching. And then the other two, with pitching and defense and hitting, we just got to put them all 3 together in one time. We've had 2 out of 3 most of the games, and if we are able to put in our pitching, hitting, and defense, I think we're going to be a very tough team to beat. We should be able to compete with everybody. But that's the game of baseball. You got to do the routine things. You got to put the ball in play. You got to be able to make the plays on defense, and then you got to be able to throw strikes. And it doesn't matter how hard you throw it. If you don't throw strikes, you just got to put it over that 17-inch wide plate.
And the thing about it is, I watched the 2 games against Williston the other day, and I thought your kids, you put out on the mound for the most part through strikes and kept the ball in play in tough conditions, that sort of thing. First game, the biggest thing, and you know me well enough, Pete, the thing that frustrated me doing PA was just make the routine play.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a mean way towards the kids, but maybe sometimes when you're playing in those kind of conditions, you kind of lose a little focus.
Yeah, I would definitely say that we were worrying more about the external conditions than the conditions that we can take care of ourselves, which is the next play that's coming at you. And we didn't make the routine plays. We don't ask our players to go out and make the diving plays and the stellar catches and so forth. If that happens, that's icing on the cake. But we do want them to be able to make the routine plays that are at them, be able to field it and step and throw it and get the easy outs. And we didn't do that very well when we faced Williston. We had more errors than we had hits, and anytime that happens, good things aren't going to turn out.
But you like the attitude of your kids even after the doubleheader loss to Legacy as you guys go to the final end of the regular season, and then anything can happen in a WDA tournament. I don't care if it's baseball, football, basketball, softball, whatever. Anything can happen next week in Mandan.
Absolutely. Well, we're at 8-6 right now, so that's nothing to laugh at. And so
exactly.
We've showed that we can win some ball games, and our players are working hard every day at practice. One thing we ask them to do is, did you get better today than you were yesterday? And I can say that we probably did that 99% of the time this spring. And sometimes there's other things that are on their minds, and that draws into part of the baseball game where it's 75% mental and 25% physical, because 3 times out of 10 you're successful in hitting, and then you're pretty good. So it's really tough to stay focused, and that's something that I think they've done a pretty good job on.
Hey, Pete, thanks a lot for stopping by tonight. PSP Network will be doing video and audio of the State A baseball and softball tournament from Jamestown. I hope to get to see the Magicians down there and spend a little time with you and your coaching staff and your kids.
All right, thanks a lot, Scott. I really appreciate what you guys have done just for overall athletics here in the region with PSP Network and expanding, and that's been a great opportunity for our kids to be able to get some exposure, and parents from all over the country be able to see it.
Hey, have a good time this weekend. Good luck, and we'll see you in Jamestown.
All right, thanks.
All right, that's Pete Stenberg, the head coach of the Minot High Magician baseball team. Remember now their game against Dickinson. They were supposed to host Dickinson in a doubleheader at Corbett tomorrow. That has been postponed. It will be made up if it needs to be made up. But Minot High does travel to Jamestown on Friday, and as Pete said, if they can't get them in Friday, they'll stay over that night and play it on Saturday, because that doubleheader is really, really crucial to both teams. Dickinson right now at 50, you play an 18-game WDA. Dickinson right now at 15-1, Legacy at 12-4, Mandan at 13-5, Minot at 8-6, Jamestown at 9-7, Century at 8-8, Williston at 8-8. The number 8 seed already clinched, Bismarck St. Mary's at 6-12, Bismarck High the number 9 seed at 3-15, Watford City the 10th seed at 0-16. Today's games had Century at Williston and Watford City at Bismarck Legacy. Again, the Dickinson Minot game has been postponed for tomorrow. And then Minot High plays at Jamestown. Playing games next week. On Monday in the West Region, Watford City will be at the number 7 seed. Bismarck High will play at Bismarck St. Mary's, and the West Region tournament will be held in Mandan next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And if Minot High looks as if they're in a good spot to stay out of that number 7 seed, if they can get some wins in Jamestown on Friday and don't have to play a play-in game. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. I don't know if we're going to talk track and field or if we're going to talk football, but we're going to talk one of those two when we come back. The Scotty K Show live from the Spicy Pie here in the PSP Network. Spicy Pie needs to be your only stop for the best in pizza, grinders, wings, tacos, flatbreads, and even desserts. They offer several specials throughout the week, including their 2 pizza slice special, 2 jumbo 1-topping slices and a beverage for just $6.98 plus tax, and a 1-topping 18-inch pie for just $14. And if you're looking for a place to watch your favorite sports teams, Spicy Pie is the place with lots of TVs to watch the game. Dine-in, takeout, and delivery available and kid-friendly. And if you are looking to make some extra money, Spicy Pie is looking for some great personalities to join their team. Spicy Pie, 1100 North Broadway in Beaver Ridge on Minot's North Hill.
The magic of what we do really comes down to combining different aspects of patient care. Here at Premier Chiropractic, we love combining soft tissue work, the adjustment, and exercises together. We found that this gets the best results for our patients. We have 3 chiropractors to fit the needs of the entire family, a rehab area for our exercises and equipment for any athlete to improve performance. Give us a call and we will get you back to doing what you love.
Great smiles come from Vibetta Orthodontics. Vibetta Orthodontics is a certified Invisalign provider. Invisalign fits your budget and your lifestyle. Braces for children, teens, and adults with affordable monthly payments. Schedule your complimentary consultation and exam by logging on to VibettaOrthodontics.com or by calling 701-839-6010.
Great smiles come from Vibetta Orthodontics.
And now back to the Spicy Pie. And now back to the Spicy Pie for the Scotty K Show.
Welcome back here to the Spicy Pie, Scotty K Show. Final night of the school year here. We hope that we can partner with Spicy Pie again next fall when the school season starts and we get back into football in this fall season. In late August into September. I guess I want to say thank you to all of you who have tuned in, and I want to say thank you to the Spicy Pie. And speaking of the Spicy Pie, don't forget about their tacos and tunes. I know it's been a little chilly here. We haven't had the weather that we should, that you can sit at the patio here at Spicy Pie, but they have taco and tunes every Wednesday all the way through the summer months. Also, their sweet and sour Hawaiian pizza of the month for the month of May. Canadian bacon, pineapple, sauerkraut, and barbecued sauce. Sounds like it's pretty good, although I'm not a sauerkraut eater. But our next guest, we're going to talk to Drew Hischelin, the head coach of the Minot High boys and girls track and field, or boys track and field team here in a bit. They got the regional tournament coming up later this weekend. And then we'll all travel, and I get to be a part again of the state track meet, both Class A and B, and girls and boys next week. It's one of my state tournaments that I've been involved in for a long time. I'm a basketball and football nut, but boy, I like the state track meet. But joining me now, we're going to talk a little football. I know it's not football season in North Dakota, but I'm honored and proud to present to you and have a chance to visit with the new head coach of the new high school at Minot High that will open up in the fall of 2024. But they're going to get him jump started and get him going. Jacob Holman joins me. Jacob, a former Minot High football player, athlete, and also played a little football at UND. And if the name is familiar, and I hate to do this, Jacob, but if the name is familiar, his dad was a long-time track and field coach at Minot High and the football coach for many years, also just retired from teaching at Minot High. And I want to welcome you in, Jacob. I followed you through your years of growing up, and now I get to talk to you as the new head football, or the new football coach at the new high school. You got to be pretty darn excited.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to have the opportunity here to start something from scratch and develop something special in a city that means a lot to me.
Hey, Jacob, let's talk about the process that you're going to go through. Because actually you're not going to play a varsity football game until the fall of 2024. Now you're going to start next year in 23 and probably have already started that process. But what's the process as you go into this? And I know you've probably sat down with your dad and maybe Mitch, or I know you have with Mitch Lundy, just to kind of give us, our listeners, a kind of an idea of what is the first process for you as the football coach.
So to start off, I guess we'll play a freshman schedule this next year. So just getting to know who's going to come play for us, which is kind of still up in the air with boundary lines right now. But that was one step, and then trying to develop and build the coaching staff has been kind of on the forefront of things right now. So I'll get 2 assistant coaches that will be able to work with me this first year, and then that'll grow as we go. But that's been job number 1, is try to get good people to coach our kids and develop them into very good football players, but then really good people as well.
What's the process this summer? I mean, okay, the question I have to ask, and it's because other people have asked me, you're going to have a freshman schedule this year. That's going to involve freshman kids. Once the boundaries are aligned and everybody knows, those kids will be playing freshman football for whatever we call the new school, and the freshmen that are here. So basically we'll have split freshman schools next year.
Correct. They'll go to school together, but then they'll play separately. So that'll be a unique situation, and that'll happen for 2 years until the new school opens. But looking into the summer here, this all happened so late in the process. I mean, I got hired in May, so I was already set to work in the weight room and stuff at Minot High and do that. So we just decided it was best to keep all of our kids in Minot together for 1 year. So all of our training in the summer, camps and whatnot, we'll keep it together and then branch off as needed.
So Jacob, and that's the question I wanted to ask, since you will be leaving the Magicians and becoming whoever we're going to become, you're not going to cut ties with Chauncey and that group this summer. You guys, all those kids will be working together until you figure out what the heck is going on.
Yeah, and part of it is we don't have a place to go either. So, I mean, we're 2 years out from a building, so I'm grateful that they're willing to share with us still, and it'll be unique. I think this first year we'll be fine with it, but then as we get going, there's going to be a rivalry that develops, and maybe you don't want to be together very much, but right away it'll be all right.
Jacob, I want to talk about your journey to this. You played for your dad at Minot High, went to UND, played there, and then came back and got into the coaching staff and coached with your dad for a couple of years, and then your dad decided, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to retire and do some other things. And you've had a chance to work with Chauncey and that coaching staff the last couple, 2-3 years. Tell me about the journey. Did you ever expect that you would be at the age, and I'm not saying you're too young to be a head football coach, but did you ever expect to be where you're at?
Probably not at this moment, but it's been my goal to become a head football coach pretty much my entire life. And when my dad decided to step away and Chauncey got that job, in my head I thought, okay, I got to put in 20, 30 more years here, and then maybe I'll get my shot. But when this opportunity came, it was something that I couldn't pass up.
The question is, did you have to think twice about it, or did you just say, hey, I'm going to jump at this opportunity?
Right away, I was all for it, and then when it came time to hit submit on that application, it was tough. I'm a Minot High guy all the way, and
you'll always be a Magi.
Absolutely,
maroon and gold, depending on you're going to be black and silver, or navy and silver. That's
right.
But you're still going to have allegiance to Minot High.
Absolutely. That's
the only time you want to beat them is when you play the Magicians.
Exactly. Yeah, and kids have asked me and stuff about how hard it was to leave and whatnot, and I'm pulling for those guys. I love those kids over there. I've spent hours and hours with the guys that will play for Minot High this next year, and I'll always bleed a little maroon and gold.
Can I ask you a question? Did you sit down, and I do this because I've been around your dad and mom for many, many years. As I mentioned, I watched you grow up. Did you sit down and talk to mom and dad about this whole scenario?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I trust everything that they...
Did you call Micah too?
Oh, yeah, he was involved. So, yeah, we're a tight-knit group, so anything that I'm going to do, I'm gonna seek their advice, and it was much appreciated.
And I tell you what, I was around some of the coaches Monday when we had the track meet, the sophomore track meet, and you were around there, and we were giving you a bad time about being one of the last field events to get done, whatever. But I was talking to some of the people up in the press box, and they were saying what an opportunity to send a great young individual to a job that maybe he thinks in the back of the mind he's not ready for, but knowing full well that he's going to put 150% into it.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. It's a unique thing to think about. Something that I've never gone through before, but I have a really good advisor that I can reach out to whenever I want to, and he's helped me already, and I know that he'll continue to help me in whatever I need. So just being able to fall back on that is great.
You know, there's another question I want to ask you, because you were involved so much with Minot High football in the program, and now coaching with your dad, and now with Chauncey and his staff. Did you have any conversations with Chauncey and the other guys in the coaching staff about, is this the right move for me?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Chauncey. I trust Chauncey a lot, and I really respect him. And he was all for it, and thought it was a great opportunity to go after. So very supportive of the whole deal. You guys will always be great friends, even though you'll be wearing a different color.
Yeah. But you know what? I look at Bismarck. You got Century, you got Legacy, you got Bismarck High, and I watch the coaches how they interact with each other. Yeah, you want to beat them on the night you play them, but the camaraderie. You're never going to lose the friendships that you had with coaches that you coached at as a magician.
No, not at all. And especially the game of football is just special. It brings people together more than anything I've been a part of, and the time that I've been able to spend with Chauncey, and then a lot of other coaches, a lot of guys that coached me, and then I had an opportunity to coach with them. So those relationships built as a player and then as a coach will last forever.
And the thing about it is you get a lot to do in the next year and a half, because there's a lot of question marks out there. Mm-hmm. And Mitch Lundy has told me there's still a lot of question marks of, what's going to actually happen. But I appreciate it, and I am so proud of you, and for the lack of a better word, that you want to take this challenge on, because it might be 2-3 years down the road where you're going, because it's going to be a challenge for you guys to start out this program from scratch. I don't care if you live in Minot, Fargo, Bismarck, or Billings, or Minneapolis. Starting a new program is a new process.
Absolutely. Looking at our middle schools these last couple of years, our numbers haven't been great, so that was my first concern is, are we going to have enough kids to play? And I actually snuck up to the city track meet during school a couple of days ago, and I already started the process of talking to some kids. Really excited about the kids we have, actually.
And that's part of it, isn't it?
Yep.
Getting out there and connecting with kids.
Yep, that's the job. You got to build relationships with kids. That's the most important thing. Give them a great opportunity, great experience. And whether we win or lose a lot early, if we can develop kids and get to know them, then we're winners there.
You know, Jake, I want to say, last thing I'm going to say to you, I've been around you. I'm getting older, you know that. But I've been around you and watched you grow up from a young kid, watched you go through the Minot High program, watched you. I didn't watch you, but I followed you when you were at UND, yep. And now to have you back here, I'm just so happy for you to get this opportunity.
I appreciate that very much. I'm very excited and very fortunate to be in the situation that I'm in, and look forward to working with you.
Hey, God willing, I'm going to be here in 2 years when you do your first varsity football game. I hope I can get a pregame interview with you.
You got it.
Hey, Jacob, congratulations. Have fun with the opportunity, but I know you're still a magician. We got track and field we got to take care of, right?
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot, and stay for stopping by. And you know what? Once we start out in the fall again, we'll have you back, and we'll talk a little bit more. Right. Whatever nickname you have,
we'll figure it out.
We'll talk about the new Minot High School football team. Thanks, Jacob.
Thanks, Scott.
All right. Jacob Holman, he is the new head football coach at the new high school, which still has to be named. We don't have a nickname yet. We do know the colors are navy. Is it navy silver? Navy silver, white, and I can and a lot of that came back to they wanted Air Force colors because of our connection with the Air Force up north. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks to a month that we know what the high school's name is, what the nickname is, and we can go forward to it and look forward to what should have happened a long time ago in the city of Minot, and this is my opinion. we should have had a second high school 20 years ago. And we probably should be looking at a third high school in Minot. But I'm excited about the future of what's going to happen in education on the not just the high school level, but the middle school level and the elementary level here in Minot High. We're going to take a break here on the Scotty K Show. When we come back, we'll talk some track and field. Boys head coach from Minot High will join me. They got a region tournament coming up on Saturday, and then one of the most fun tournaments that I do. I love basketball. I love football. Don't get me wrong, but I've been involved with the state track meet as a public address announcer for the last 15, 16 years. Tell you what, I'm looking forward to next week in Bismarck to watch some of the finest athletes on the track and in the field show their talents off at the state track meet. Drew Hirschland will join me when we come back here on the Scotty K Show.
This presentation on the PSP Network is proudly brought to you by Make sure to like and follow the PSP Network on all social media platforms. PSP Network, it's game day.
Ackerman Esvold, your neighbors, friends, and family who are working for you. The local.
You remember where this goes? I don't know. Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zoom, zoom? I think your quash leader valve's stuck. Do you even have insurance? If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Inspections are free to ensure your vehicle is always in peak condition.
Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
Looking for a great place to take the family before or after the game? Choose Spicy Pie. They offer a wide variety of menu items: pizza, grinders, wings, tacos, flatbread, and even desserts. Enjoy their 2 pizza slice special, 2 jumbo 1-topping slices, and a beverage for just $6.98 plus tax. Join them for Taco Thursday with discounts on all Mexican items and $1.50 tacos. And don't forget White Sauce Wednesdays with the first 10 dine-in or carry-out orders with a whole pie. Get a free bottle of white grinder sauce. Dine-in, takeout, and delivery. Kid-friendly. Spicy Pie, 1100 North Broadway in Beaver Ridge on Minot's North Hill.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is proudly brought to you by Shields, Premier Chiropractic, First International Bank and Trust, Shots Crossroads, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, First Western Bank and Trust, the Minot Hockey Boosters, Roger Ward Moving and Storage, Clean Tech, the UPS Store, Magic City Inspections, Planet Pizza, Minot's Finest Collision Center, Subway, Century Eyewear, Qdoba, North Country Sportswear, Morelli's Distributing, Jersey Mike Subs, Pro Style Production DJ Services, and the Beaupre Law Firm. Now back to the Spicy Pie for the Scotty K Show.
Back here on the Scotty K Show on this May Wednesday night. Thank you for joining us again. It is our final show for this school year. Hopefully we can partner with Spicy Pie next year and be back here starting in late August, early September as we get into the fall sports. But we do still have some spring sports we want to talk about. I do want to let you know, got to do this commercial here. Hey, the Spicy Pie Pizza of the Month for the month of May is the sweet and sour Hawaiian, Canadian bacon, pineapple, sauerkraut, barbecue sauce. And even though we've had some tough weather this spring, the patio is open here at the Spicy Pie. You can come up here every you can sit out there any day you want to sit out there, but you come up here on Thursday nights, which is taco night here at Spicy Pie, and you can take in tacos and tunes. They'll have some area entertainers that will stop by and play some music throughout the evening. We're going to talk a little Minot High boys track and field here as Drew Hischlin, the head coach of the Magicians, joins me. And I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Pete Stenberg earlier in the conversation. How frustrating has this spring been with all the weather that we've had, Drew?
Yeah, it's been a little rough. Although we have had some nice days for the meets themselves, a lot of windy days. I think the only meets that we had that weren't windy were our first early bird at home, and then that last chance meet that we had on Monday. So we've had a lot of wind, and then obviously we were put totally out of commission for a week.
Looking ahead, we've got the regional tournament coming up, and they've moved that from Friday to Saturday, right, as I understand?
Yes.
In Dickinson? Is it in Dickinson? And then you got the state meet next week. And first of all, you got qualifiers. Let's talk about some of the kids that have qualified for the state meet, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about what happens with the regional part of it. But Drew, third year head coach?
Second.
Oh, this year, second year. And I know you went through a frustrating year and maybe a tough year last year and didn't have a lot of qualifiers. But, boy, I saw it because I helped with the PA at the sophomore WDA on Monday. Boy, you got some kids coming, but you got some kids that are performing pretty well, and I think you're pretty happy with the group of kids that you got that have qualified for state.
Yeah, especially that sophomore WDA was a sign of good things to come. I believe we scored just short of 230 points in that meet, and second was Legacy with 170. The other two Bismarck schools are around 100. So our young kids, we had 75 different kids entered, and they did fantastic. We won both hurdles with and different athletes too. With Caden Kraft winning the 300s, Anthony Brown won the 110s. We swept the jumps. Conklin won the high jump. AB won the long jump, and then Grayson Schaefer won the triple jump. And what else? We got the 1600 with Ben Harris. We won the 4x2 and the 4x8. So I mean, it was a fantastic meet. And I'll tell you what, that young class, they rewrote the record books this year. Grayson Schaefer tied the freshman long jump record, broke the triple jump record. And then we had our 4x2 team, Eric Winchesky, Grayson Schaefer, Caden Kraft, and Cameron Hummel broke the 4x2 record. The 4x8 record they broke by about 8 seconds. And that was Justice Amsbury, Nolan Howie, Ben Harris, and I'm forgetting my last runner on that.
I didn't mean to put you in a corner, by the way.
But I mean, really awesome meet for us.
Well, and the thing the way I say it, there's a couple of kids I'm going to bring up. You got some seniors that have qualified. You got some juniors that have qualified for the state meet. Yeah, Drew, I'm going to be very honest with you. You're not going to contend for a team title this year in the state track meet, and I know that's not your goal. It's a goal to get as many kids involved in getting the experience at the state meet.
Yeah, I mean, we're growing that list, and I mean, we'll control what we can control. I mean, we've been trying to get better all year. We have improved, and we're going to go compete, and we'll do the best we can do.
All right, regional tournament in Dickinson on Friday or Saturday. It's supposed to be Friday, but now you moved it back to Saturday because of weather. I understand conditions doesn't look good that it's going to be that nice for track and field on Saturday, but it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a championship meet, and you got to compete, and everybody's going to deal with the same conditions. And who knows, maybe for some of our guys who are right on the verge of qualifying for state, maybe some guys drop out of races, and it opens up an opportunity for them to move into the top 6.
Drew, talk about the regional tournament, because the way I understand it, you can still qualify as a qualifying standard, but how do they do it? Is there kids that maybe not qualify by the qualifying time can still make the state meet?
Yeah, it'll happen. You take top 6. If I'm honest, the WDA is a heck of a track and field league. So
I know.
In recent years, it's been in the whole meet, 4 or 5 that make top 6 that weren't the standard itself.
Talk about your program. How many kids you got involved in your program this year?
I think
I'm talking 9 through 12.
9 through 12. Like I said, those bottom 2 grades are really big. But I think even my last roster, when I was checking it, I believe we still had 135 kids even up till that last day.
And I'm not trying to throw stones at anybody, but you had to build that program or build those numbers up. Not the program, but you had to build the numbers up.
Yeah, I mean, especially in the younger grades, and like I said, Coach Hendershot has done a great job recruiting all those football guys. We've had help from other sports programs. Even Stenny's let us use some of his baseball players, and Mark Kennedy did just a fantastic job, working the hallways and getting everybody good out for track.
Well, I talked to some people the other day when I was just sitting in the press box during downtown. They said, when you got the job here, and I have been around you for a few years, Drew, because I was involved with you when you played basketball and ran or did track and field at Minot State. It's about communication. It's about getting out and interacting with the kids, isn't it? Especially in a sport of track and field.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, there's such big numbers, and it's one of those sports that there's not all the travel leagues and stuff like that growing up. So you got to find your kids and know who the athletes are, and try to touch base with them as much as you can and get them as excited as you can.
How do you when you looked at this regional tournament, you're not going to win the team title, and track and field's kind of like golf in the high school level. It's a team game, but it's also an individual game. You just what kind of processes or what kind of attitudes do you want to put in your kids? Just go out there and, you know what, if you don't make the state tournament, go out and get a PR.
Yeah, I mean, I think, period, that's the way you got to approach it, is you're trying to, I mean, ultimately, track and field, I think the competition's against yourself. As far as where the points are going to be at, I mean, we'll see. I mean, we're pretty reliant on, you look at these jumps, you look at the pole vault, you look at the hurdles, and the relays. A lot of the things that we're ranked in to score points are things that you either can go well, you roll the dice and you do better, or you end up. I mean, I've been to, this is my 14th year doing this, and those field events end up all over the place. So
you just aged me right there. 14 years. And I think it was 4 more years. Let's not go there. Hey, one other kid I wanted to just touch on, and I know his dad's one of the assistant coaches, but it's a kid I've kind of watched grow up. Jason Ranke is one of your, he's your pole vault coach, and his son has qualified for the state tournament, and I've watched him since he's been this high, and watching Jason work with him to get the point. My eye hasn't had a lot of pole vaulters that have qualified for the state meet in the last 20 years, and and I'm not doing this for Jason. I'm doing it for Keaton. That's quite an accomplishment for a kid to work that hard to get to where he's at.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be one of the top guys. I know he's been kind of stalled out at 13 feet. Like I said, maybe he wanted to leave his dad on the record books for a little while, but. I guess at some of the meets too, he's won, and he's just moved the bar up to 13.3 right away, and hasn't quite made it. But I mean, we're really hoping he can get those next couple heights and make himself as competitive as possible in the championship meets here.
All right. Hey, by the way, your influence, because you were a jumper in track and field. Not saying you don't have great coaches in those, but well, you got some good jumpers that have qualified already for the state meet.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
And a lot of them are young.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. When we went down to Williston a couple weeks ago, and I had a bunch of long jumpers at 20 feet 3, a bunch of triple jumpers. Well, I still got we got 5 long jumpers and 3 triple jumpers, and 2 triple jumpers right on the verge of qualifying, just an inch or 2 off. But we had 0 kids qualified for state going into that meet, and all 5 of them got it. And just seeing that group and how much they built off each other. And if you look at the marks, most of them were well over the standard.
Right.
And then we got the 3 triple jumpers. Grayson Schaefer, breaking those 2 records for the freshmen. I mean, that was as fun of a meet as I've had.
Well, I'm not going to take anything away from the upperclassmen, the juniors and seniors have, but I look at this right now, and we don't know what's going to happen in the next year and a half with the new school coming. Some of these kids might be at the new school or still with you at Minot High, unless you're going to the new school. I don't know. I have no idea. But I want to talk to you as a coach, and I'm just going to fill you out because you've been in the Minot program for a long time. I just got off the air with Jacob Holman, who's been a magician all his life and now is moving to the new high school, that sort of thing. Is us having a second high school, I know what my answer is, and I'll tell you what my answer is, but that doesn't make any difference. Is this good for Minot High? Is this good for Minot?
Oh, yeah. I mean, even track, I guess, I'll tell you what, it's a lot of work keeping track of. In the spring, there's so much stuff going on, keeping track of where 140 kids are. They will get even more individualized attention, even in something like track, and it's more opportunities. I think it makes our school district more attractive to families coming into town, so it'll be good for the community.
And I know, Drew, that you sit there, he says, well, I have to find out where the boundaries are and which kids I'm going to lose and which kids I'm still going to have. But it's all about the kids, and it's all about the opportunity, isn't it?
Absolutely.
All right, hey, good luck this week in the region. Hopefully you get some more qualifiers, and I am really looking forward to it. And I said at the outset when I put you on, I got asked about 16 years ago by Jim Hausler to help out with the PA at the state track meet, and I was a little apprehensive, but, I wasn't a big track guy or that sort of thing. But once I started it and got into it about 3 years, and they kept asking me back, and now this will be my 16th or 17th year. That is one of the premier state meets in the state, simply because we got A and B boys and girls, some of the finest athletes there, and I've seen so many performances that just wow me.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a hidden gem. I guess if you're in Bismarck, every year you see it, but that bowl is going to be jam-packed full of people, and it's an event like no other. Let me throw out one other thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Cooper Feld was the 4x8 guy.
All right.
I know if he hears this, and I didn't say his name, he'd give me a hard time. So
okay, and
Cooper Feld's the last kid on that relay.
And guess what? I'm glad you did that, because his mom would probably say something to me too. Hey, Drew, thanks a lot for stopping by. You've done one heck of a job over the last 2 years, and I know you're going to keep growing. I know you're a Grand Forks Central kid, but I think you bleed a little maroon and gold now, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, thank you. See you at the soccer field.
All right.
All right, that's Drew Hischel, the head boys and girls boys track and field coach at Minot High. We're going to probably wrap it up here just a little bit early tonight. Again, I want to thank each and every one of you. I want to thank Nick Hallberg for letting me have this opportunity to put this show up on each and every Wednesday night. We'll be back hopefully here at the Spicy Pie late August in September. I want to thank the Spicy Pie. Couldn't be a better host to do this show, and hopefully we can be back here in September. I wish the best to all the Minot High teams. I mean, we're having a great spring season. We've got our softball team right now is going to be a 1 or 2 seed in the West Region tournament. Our soccer team is already clinched. In fact, our soccer team hasn't been beat in 2 years. Our tennis team is unbelievable. Track and field, I know the girls have had a great year. The boys have had a great year. It's just been a fun year to be a magician. It's all going to change in a couple of years, but I think it's going to all change, in my opinion, for the good of Minot and the educational process of Minot. That's my take on it. If you disagree with me, that's fine, because it's just only my opinion. Again, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us over the course of the last 5 or 6 months. Hopefully, again, as I mentioned, we're back here again. Until then, thank you, and good night, everybody. Have a great summer.
This has been a presentation of the PSP Network. Thank you for joining us for the Scotty K Show. Make sure to like and follow the PSP Network on all social media platforms. PSP Network, it's game day.